popular now, but you kind of got into it. How were you introduced to it?
Honestly, man, I was traveling. I love to travel. I was on my way to Florida from Virginia. It was a long drive, and lo and behold, there's a hand just floating out in thin air in the middle of the street. And I'm thinking to myself, holy, how does he do that? So what I do is I slam on the accelerator, I cut him off. Luckily he stopped just before he T-boned me. And after the hour-long argument, we had a decent 10-minute conversation about what he was doing. He tells me he's hand gliding, and I can learn it too.
How long do you think you're going to be able to hand glide?
Well, hopefully my whole life, I've been a hand glider, I would say, since I was like 3, so, it's a solid 21 years now, and hopefully going to do it for another 21 years and after that, so.
What do you see for the future for hand gliding?
Oh, I think it's going to take off, we're getting right there at that, what they call the 100th monkey kind of precipice, where just, one more person joining the sport, and then, it's just gonna boom, explode, and then pretty soon everybody will be doing it everywhere.
Hand gliding, where it's just sticking your hand outside of a car window or a motorcycle window or a boat, or just anywhere where you're getting a breeze over your hand and just moving your hand around and doing cool maneuvers this way.
I like feeling the lift.
The initial step when you just get into the air and you feel that lift take you up into the air, it's really awesome.
When you actually get popped up into the lift and your stomach kind of goes out a little bit and you know that you're being picked up. The first couple times it was just this not scary, but just what is going on, then you realize what's happening. You're like, this is amazing.
It's best when you're a driver or a passenger in a car and you got a nice breeze rolling and get a lot of airflow moving over your hand. You can do it the front face where you get a lot of maneuverability, or you can do it side face where it's really stable and you get a lot of airflow, but you can't move around as much. You can't do as cool tricks, but you get the real shape of an airfoil with your hand here, so it's pretty sweet that way. I prefer the maneuverability of straightforward. You can really swing your hand around, and when you get your nose up, you get a whole bunch of airflow. You can really feel the power of the air coming through. It's pretty awesome.
So what's your favorite part about hand gliding?
Oh, just the expression of the soul. I feel free when I hand glide. Self-expression and the freedom, just the freedom.
Do you think it's safe or dangerous?
It depends on the scenario and exactly how you're hand gliding. It could be risky.
I think it's safe if you take the necessary precautions and ease into it, not just go jump off the biggest ramp on the sketchiest day.
I don't care if it's safe.
It depends on the kind of traffic.
I'd say it's safe with the correct instructor, and as long as you make the right decisions.
No.
Back that up.
I mean, I do it, so it's not safe.
Safer than a lot of things, like biking. It's safer than me biking over here, for sure. Proper safety checks that we always do. Great instructors.
I've never heard of any fatalities. That's just crazy.
So, a few years back, I was hand gliding with a buddy, and I was driving. I had my left hand out and was cruising, and a good buddy of mine had his right hand out the window, and 1 second we're just having the most majestic, buttery flight of our whole lives, and the next thing I know, I look over and my buddy's hand had hit a road sign and wiped it clean off, and he lost his hand in a hand gliding accident. Pretty traumatic for my friend and for the both of us. And
so it's as safe as you make it, but it can be a very unforgiving sport if you make bad decisions or go in conditions you're not ready for, pushing yourself to limit, and that is the best way to get yourself hurt or to get yourself in trouble. But if you're always flying conservatively, it can be a very, very safe sport, safe as any other sport.
You can make it safe-ish if you try. You go from the heart.
Yeah,
Watch out for Mack trucks.
It's definitely a safe sport, but you know, it's always better to have your hand inside the car wishing it was outside than have your hand outside the car wishing it was back inside.
Do you have any signature move or style that sets you apart from other hand gliders?
No, even though I've been doing it for a decent amount of time, I'm still learning. So, progressing slowly.
No, no tricks. I'm a pretty mellow.
Naked flying.
I have some secret moves I'm not going to tell anybody about, but save them for competition or something like that.
It's got the slide and then the flap.
Barrel roll.
I kind of like the stall and the swoop, kind of like you get it up there and then you dive and then you kind of come back into a level flight and it's fun.
Sometimes I can do it with two hands, split them apart.
You kind of got to work with what's given to you. If there's certain eddies that set up, you go with it and make the trick up on the fly.
I don't want to give away all my secrets though.
These young guns coming up, they're not bad hand glider pilots, and truth be told, some of the newest guys have some of the biggest hands on the scene, and they're getting some of the best performance of any hands that I've seen in the competition.
Do you have a shot of being the best and winning the next competition?
At sword fighting?
No, hand gliding.
I'd say I'm pretty heavily favored.
No, man, the air's not about competition. Those guys are wrong. They don't understand the true spirit of hand gliding.
A lot of guys use, some gear, some gloves and stuff to help with the performance.
Nah, not me. I just, I like all natural, It's like no gloves, no jacket stuff, and I just, want to feel the air on my skin, become kind of one with the atmosphere.
Yeah, I think there's been kind of a shift. There's a lot of really kind of new age guys that are trying to change the sport and doing some seriously dangerous maneuvers, proximity flying next to mailboxes and signs, and I think that is going to kind of scare some people out of the sport. It's all really cool to kind of go big, but I think really what we need to do is kind of find something that just shatters the paradigm of hand gliding and just reorganizes the sport and go that direction.
Do you find any advantage to right hand or left hand?
Definitely right-handed. The left-handed thing, it's hard to get down. Being a right dominant person.
You can do either hand.
Yeah, you can do either hand and be able to fly just fine.
Or an advantage?
Yes, absolutely. An advantage, not so much. There's a preference always.
I really don't have a preference left or right.
I'm an ambi-hander.
I've heard about that. I've heard the double hand glide before.
Yeah, the double hand, I mean, see, a lot of the roads in the US are straight lined, and the wind's not always going to be coming in from the same side.
Trip to Australia, everything is on the left there, and it was a real eye-opener. It was really made me a much more rounded person.
So if you can learn to hand glide out of your left window just as well as you can hand glide out of your right, you grossly expand your flying opportunities. And quite honestly, that's all I'm into, expanding my time in the air.
If someone else wanted to get into it or was interested in it, what would you tell them about it?
Well, the first thing I do is I look at their hands. As long as they have all their fingers, I say, you can do this too.
They have to do it, like right now.
I would tell them they'd be stupid to not try it. It's awesome.
I'd practice in a reasonable, in a safe environment, and I'd probably seek the guidance of someone a lot more experienced than, with someone with experience, just to guide them.
Hand glide, your first time you want to definitely go with someone who knows what they're doing, and they'll show you the differences, how to maneuver your hand around.
So you've actually taught a lot of people since then, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm pushing 2,500 students. You know, some better than others, but everybody's gotten their hand in the air at least once.
Yeah.
You know, start gradually and you know, try to do it as much as you can, and you know, don't let those early setbacks you know, bother you. You know, sometimes the wind will snap you around the wrong way or something, and you just, you know, push through it and keep going.
You know, do what's right for you. You know, you gotta have your own style. You gotta have, you know, your own way that you glide. So, you know, do you.
You just have to be true to yourself. You know, don't listen to anyone else. Don't. Live your dream. And it'll happen.
I'm trying to get more of my like female friends to do it.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of female hang glider pilots, are there?
Nope. Sad. You need to get them all. Because we make, apparently, really graceful flyers.
It's super cheap. I mean, you just kind of pay for gas and go out with your buddies.
It's free, man. Just me and my hand in the wind. You're never more connected than when you're flying your hand out the window.
I was going to say I usually do it on passenger, but actually I think I do it a lot when I'm driving. It depends on the drive.
It's freaking awesome, and I actually like it more than flying airplanes now. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet.
You know, the hang gliding, it's just so all-encompassing. You know, I do a little bit of hang gliding too. You know, but
it's a little bit different than hang gliding for sure. You can, you know, pitch up, dive down, bank it around anyway really easily without any real training.
I mean, you can hang glide in so many places. You can hang glide in a boat, in a car, in a hang glider, and
hand gliding is where it's at.
So what's your favorite part about hand gliding?
Hand gliding? Well, when we're in the car, I like rolling down the windows and putting my hand out and then go up, and that's my favorite part about hand gliding. But hang gliding!
I hear you also do hang gliding?
Yeah, hang gliding's an excellent sport.
I do hang glide.
I don't. I just hand glide. I hate getting confused with hang gliding. They're two separate sports. I'm a hand glider, not a hang glider.
Hang gliding is controlling a large kite through weight shift, either foot launching or arrow towing.
Where we get to run off the most beautiful mountains in New England.
You fly around thousands of feet in the air over different vistas and going different heights and do different maneuvers while controlling a hang glider.
Yeah, I've been doing that for almost just as long. Well, you know, truth be told, I've been doing it just as long, but I've been dreaming about hand gliding way longer. You know, that's been what's, you know, consumed my mind.
Well, someday I'd like to go hand gliding while hang gliding, and that would be really cool.
Hand gliding out of a hang glider is that's a pretty surreal experience, because, you know, you're up high in the air, and it's like you're not just flying yourself, but you're flying your hand independently on both sides of you, and just insane views, and it's like 3 axes of flight, you know, left hand flying, right hand flying, and you know, you're flying. So that's a pretty wild experience for sure.
Anything you'd say to someone who wanted to get into it? Into hang gliding?
Do it. You'll be surprised. It is the most beautiful, serene. It'll make you speechless. Just take a tandem, if anything, and find out what it's like. Come out and do a day's lesson. We'll run you up and down the hill. It'll be a great time.
And what about hand gliding? If anyone was wanting to get into hand gliding, what would you recommend they do?
Roll down your window.
Do you put your hand out fingers first or thumb?
Oh, fingers first. Definitely. Yeah. That's a silly question.
Have you been hand gliding?
I don't know. Is this a character? I don't even know.
Just whatever. What's your favorite thing about hand gliding?
I don't like these questions,
You
man.
suck.
I told you I don't want to do this.
Get the fork.
Fingers are overrated. You know, too much drag. It's all about really kind of cleaning it up, and I think he kind of changed the whole view with that.
Sometimes that means the glove store or the prosthetic shop.
Just with prosthetics nowadays, it's pretty amazing what you can get out there and do. And he's out there, he's just nub gliding, you know? He's just no hand, no problem. Just putting it out there, and just the airflow that you can get over a nub is actually, there's stuff he can do that nobody else in the game can do just because.
Cut that one.
Oh my god!
You got so far. That was good. All right. Let's calm it back down. Let's see. Words of advice or inspiration for new people getting into it?
Stop calling it hand gliding.
That's a great end.